Good evening, everybody. Um, Hi, Tiger the Tony. Thank you. Thank you for always being so sweet. Hi, MS0426. So, I kind of have a lot on my mind to the point where I can't even sleep. I've missed the last probably 2 or even 3 programs. Hi, Martin Rowe. Long time no see. Hi. I know you're all the way in the UK. Of Ernie Shells and thought, well, I got a free membership, um, you know, when he sent out 5 a couple of days ago. And yeah, it's really morning there. Wow. Um, so I thought I'd say hi. And then it's kind of like, to me, when you get older and you go through enough, it felt like all hell broke loose, like kind of. And after midnight where you are, you party animal. Well, yeah, no, I've got to go to bed pretty soon, but I'm I feel what I feel is really misunderstood. Well, I mean, not mean kids. Ernie was really nice, um, understanding and patient, and there's a bunch of different Tinas, which I wasn't aware that Mama T was called Tina. Like, I didn't know, and I didn't know Tina Simmerly was even an issue in that chat. So when you don't follow along for months, you don't know all the ins and outs of someone's programs or chats or their mods or anything. And Markella had said something about a Tina, and I assumed, which I know you shouldn't do, but I assumed it was about me, because I know how she's felt about me for a long time. And we haven't spoken. I thought it was a couple of years. She said it was 3 years. Well, after some chatting back and forth, which wasn't even in a negative way, in Ernie's chat, yeah, um, we got it figured out. Once after maybe, I don't know, it felt like 10 minutes. It was probably only 5 minutes. She said, no, 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 not you, Tina. I was talking about a different Tina. And instead of, getting on her about it and saying, oh, well, couldn't you have clarified and just been bitchy, which I'm not. Hi, Daniel Berry Sports. I said, oh, okay. I even said I'm sorry. So everything was fine. But then I don't know if the mods were behind or what. And I'm not throwing blame or shade. I'm just simply stating then they had the things they wanted to say, which is like, okay, that's a warning. You're on warning 1 or something. Because Ernie is making some guidelines for his program, which is a good thing for the chat, for the mods, for people that come in, for what is, allowed to be discussed up on his panel. There's not going to be any more bashing and that kind of thing of creators and this kind of thing. So I absolutely did forget that Markella was a creator. And not only did I forget, I had no clue that she was still one. Apparently she is. So I wouldn't even have really talked to her. I would have just been like, okay, let's let bygones be bygones. I've forgiven you. Can you do that for me? That's what I said in the middle of it. Well, because she's a creator and I'm talking to her, not a random person in chat, I got, a warning. And that hurts because I felt misunderstood about the whole thing. So then I tried to put that in chat to let people know nothing was deliberate. Well, then the next thing I know, Mark Terry, he's a mod in there, and he's saying, okay, that's warning two or something. Okay, so now I'm up, now I'm thinking, and also I missed the beginning of Ernie's show. So is it 3 warnings and then you're timed out for 10 seconds? Like, I still don't know. But I'm not going to be going over there anymore because I know um well, no, not in a negative way. And people assumed, that it was a negative way. But I'm not concerned about this because I will state right here, I'm going to stay away. Um, there's too much sort of misunderstanding and even disdain from different people that go to his program against me. And I just, I'm supposed to keep my stress level low. So if it feels like a um, kind of chaotic slash toxic place for me, just me to be, then I won't go. And also, even not even trying to ruin his live and his panel and his whole thing he's got going, it's been stated by that Kevin X Factor person that I pretty much derailed his live or something. And that hurts because I'm not that's just not me. Like, how many times have people had different people up on their panels and they're just screaming at each other and mocking each other and belittling and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, no, I'm just not going to be part of it. Martin, I wish Ernie the very, very best in his endeavors and in his life. And I don't have to feel that I need to be a part of everything. I really mostly wanted Ernie to know that I had heard his apology, through Jeannie on the telephone, and that I felt the same way back. That I apologize for doing a live, on him, and that was a whole year and a half ago, you guys. So time is flying by. But I don't make sock accounts. I don't have channels of bashing and trauma and all this. So why would I want to go to someone's channel and bring that upon them? I mean, my gosh, it's just, yeah. So it's not me. It never has been me. I don't have a sock account. I didn't even know they were called sock accounts until about 6 months ago. I thought it was just other avatars, things like this. I'm still learning. Am I perfect? No. But I had no intention of saying any more than like hi in chat, um, and that kind of thing. And Ernie wasn't even, I don't think he was even going to have a panel. I think he was just talking about the new guidelines and stuff. But I'm not saying it's Markella's fault. She even felt like it was her fault. She said it in chat. She said it to a mod. And of course, the mod said no. PCT started it. No, no. None of us started anything, including Markella. Okay? She was stating something. I took it as me, as the Tina. You're not in the sock tribe, Martin. And that was my mistake. I assumed. And it's probably because, well, I know why. It's because of the problem that she and I had with each other years ago. That's why I assumed it. Okay, if it was some other person in there, like someone maybe random, I never even heard their name, it wouldn't even have bothered me. I would have just thought, yeah, I would have just thought, okay, um, you know, they they know what happened, with Ernie and I on Queen Bees, and they know about the problems and the friction we had a year and a half ago. Not more of a personal thing, because I put myself out there, and I expect to get some grief now and then, and I expect not everyone to like me. Okay, that's not the problem, and I don't even think I was timed out. That's why I think they were just warnings, and then maybe you get timed out. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen the beginning of his program. It's the women don't watch this or something. And you know, um, unlock your reality. Ernie Shell is a good man, always has been. He's admitted that YouTube has kind of taken him off course. You're funny, Martin Rowe. Um, Taken him off course for a while, but he's back on course. And I don't want to be a disruption to that, which apparently I was earlier. So it was about two different warnings I was getting, really for no reason. I was feeling misunderstood, and that's why I typed in chat, "Can I have the link, please, real quick?" I thought I was going to go up there by myself for about all of 3 minutes and bring up the Markella thing, you know, because also he was noticing it. He was saying, "Well, what's this about Markella?" And, "Well, what's this, just at the end?" And that's when I said, "Can I have the link real quick?" Okay, but no. Mark Mark Terry went up. X Factor came up. And that's all fine and dandy, but I didn't feel like I could talk and express myself like right now about Markella and I. I don't even know what on earth to this very second what she was upset with me about in the past. I know we had differences in Team Rose's chat, and before that I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, for real, I couldn't even tell you. Um, but I've always kind of felt that she doesn't like me, whatever, and that's fine. But there was a real, not beef, but something about something. Anyway, okay, so I go up there, and you know, times aren't for me now like they used to be. Okay, I things are very different in my life. They really are. I've had a stroke and a heart attack within 5 years of each other, from the age of 58 to 63. That's scary in itself. The thing is, yeah, do I dance a little bit, and move my hips around and get close to the camera? Yes. Yes, I do. A, because I enjoy dancing. B, because it's my exercise, actually, especially in the wintertime. I don't get out much. C, does it help with some views? Yes. It's that simple. It's not for Dolly Vision. It's not for Ernie Shell. It's not. It's for me. It's just what I feel like doing to kind of get into the mood, feel more upbeat if I've had a hard day with my son who has special needs, who's a grown adult. This kind of thing. So to be accused, by X Factor saying I was shaking my ass in the camera for Ernie and blah blah blah. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I mean, you guys can think that. He was just asking me to stand up and kind of dance to a certain song that he put on and turn around, and I did. And I was in baggy ass pajama bottoms. I mean, really big. I had to roll over the top. Yeah, thank you. Tina shakes for Tina. I do. Now, was I a little rebellious and getting a little, a little nutty and off the wall and pushing the limits? After the whole Dolly Vision and starting my channel? Yes. But it's just different. It's just different for me now. I feel different. Um, you know, I mean, it's weird when you're age 60 and you're 61 and you're 62 and you're 63. This is what I've learned. And I said this the other night. When I was 40 and gave birth when I was 41, I felt as good as if I were in my 20s. When I was in my 50s, I was riding my bike to the athletic center and I would do an hour and a half of Zumba dancing and then go over in another room and hop on this bike while I'm lifting 5 pound weights for an hour right after that. Now I'm not, trying to be boastful. I'm talking about my energy level, and I did that for a whole year. And then I tucked my little Zumba skirt and my whatever those shaker things are called now. Now I can't even remember. No, I mean, no, but that's when I was 50. So when I was 50, I felt like I was in my 40s. I really did. And even 55, I felt pretty good. But it was literally having my stroke at 58, having to get on these meds. So, so you're nearly 50, Martin? Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like I had just boosts of energy and I felt so good. But the stroke, being on the medicine, the lisinopril makes you feel more tired. And that's for blood pressure. Okay. And I was like, why am I feeling so kind of sluggish and just kind of I don't really want to do this today. I don't even really want to do that today. I don't, well, lisinopril, um, oh no, that's the metropolol. The metropolol makes me feel pretty tired, that kind of fatigue feeling. That they put me on after my stress-induced heart attack this past April. The lisinopril makes me feel a little lightheaded. I do get headaches now and then. I try not to take two Tylenol every day, but I know I take too much. And the rosuvastatin for my cholesterol, that's what makes me feel kind of weak and lightheaded. And then the other thing I'm on is my Zoloft, and I haven't had any problems with that in a long time. I've been on that since my son was 4 years old, and he's 29. And that's for depression and anxiety. So, why was I even talking about that stuff? See, I've totally lost my train of thought now. Okay. So, what I used to do and all this. Now, this is the thing. Somebody in Messenger told me, oh, there's going to be this dance off, and these people thought of you, these women, and this kind of thing. Okay, I guess her name's Kells Bells or something. So I was also sent the link of her program, and I went over and I watched the latest one, and her and a bunch of people in her chat are putting down Gypsy Soul. And I immediately knew, no, it's not for me. Because I'm not going to align myself with people who can diss any shape, way, or form somebody whose daughter was murdered. I mean, think about it, okay? I'm not. I'm just not. Now, even though Mark Terry put out a video about her and got really, really mad because she got upset apparently about him and Nicolina bashing people for I don't know how long. I didn't see the live. I think it's members only. People that are on food stamps. I heard it all when she came up on his panel a week prior. How angry she is, how many taxes she pays. And I was up there and I literally said, well, apparently you don't need it. Okay? I try not to judge people that are either on food stamps or not, if they're rich or poor, if they're middle class, if they have children with 5 different fathers, you know, whatever it is. Okay, am I perfect and have I judged before? Yes. But you start, as you get older and life feels a little shorter, and your parents are both passed away, and your sister's fighting cancer and she's clear down in flippin' Missouri, and you don't have the money to even visit people, you're thinking and your rationale becomes very, very different. Okay, it's not important for me to be on panels that bash people. It's not, and even Ernie doesn't want to do that on his show anymore. Okay, he's turned a leaf. Now, I stated on Ernie's about Mark, and I tried to tell Mark when Mark is aligning himself with Ernie, you know, and then I thought of the word later on, rotation. For I don't know how long I kept saying, what is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? And then I said team. No, it's rotation. This is what I mean about short term memory loss, which all of you can think I'm making this up, I'm embellishing, like X Factor said on the show in the beginning of Mark Terry's, the one that was about me. That's why I feel I can share my feelings about who was on his panel and what was said, because he did a live on me. It's called I Am Professional PCT, which I thought was a nice title. It was short and sweet and to the point, and it's how he feels. And I'm going to get to that word professional and what it can mean to people pretty soon here, because I even went in and asked my daughter, I'm like, what does professional mean to you? And she told me. And you know what she said? She actually said, it takes someone, this is what my daughter, who's 21, said, who is very bright and always has been. She goes, it takes somebody mature to know and realize that people have different opinions of what professional means. I couldn't believe it. This is my daughter. Think about that, you guys. I in no damn way was I trying to diss Mark Terry's channel, himself, who he has in chat, who his mods are, or who's on panel. There you go, Martin. Someone who does something for a living. Amateur versus professional. Okay? Do I think Mark Terry is a professional singer and entertainer? Hell yeah. He has an incredible voice. And I'm glad. that he films himself when he's at, different places that he sings at, and that kind of thing. And I guess he mentioned people pick on him and put him down because he gets a free burrito or gets paid to sing. He should get paid. He's excellent. He's excellent. And he's been doing this for years and years. But do I think he's a professional YouTuber? No. Do I think I'm a professional YouTuber, creator, whatever? Hell no. Do I think Nicolina is professional? No. Do I think Ernie Shell is professional? Yes. You want to know why? Because his heart is into looking for children. Has he had streams in the past where people just kind of, creators attack each other and people dance and wear, tiger outfits and flip their tail around and have screaming matches? Yes. But I'll tell you what, he's always been professional because of his ideas and his theme of his program. And now he's becoming even more professional. Okay? Do I think that Team Rose is a professional channel? Yes. You want to know why? Because she's a professional dancer. She's been in theater. She knows how to move her toes and her feet and, frankly, her body. I've shown videos of her from 12 years ago dancing in front of big mirrors with her dance partner that teaches her the moves. That's professional, okay? So what I said to my daughter was, I said, to me, professional is being really, really good at something. Like you're a professional. This is what I said. And then I thought, and you guys might think this is dumb, but I said, to me, the professional car racers out there, they're professionals, right? That race round and round and round. And I've always loved to watch any kind of racing, okay? But then let's say you've got children racing trikes. They're racing trikes, but they are racing, aren't they? Is that professional? No. Now, this has nothing to do with age, okay? It's not that. To me, professional means different things. So I was like, I told my daughter, I said, I'm not even going to go live for a little while. I'm not going to, because people are going to just think I'm defending myself. And then I was like, well, wait, what does professional mean? So I looked it up, you guys. Why not? Wait till you hear all the different examples of being a professional. So let me pull it up. Okay, this is simply to say on a live that professionalism means different things to different people. And I'm going to apologize right here and right now to Mark Terry and say that when Benny Keys said that you changed up your panel and you helped a couple women come together and become friends again, or however he worded it, I didn't know that. Okay, I just started watching your channel, what, a month and a half ago? I didn't even know you were live anymore and did programs until somebody told me that you were back and you had a channel. That's the truth of the matter. So I'm kind of new on the scene of Mark Terry and even Ernie Shell, because it had been a whole year and a half. Okay, and that's my fault and my problem. But so many people fault me for not knowing what's going on. every second of every little thing everywhere. And I just don't think that's right, you guys. So when Benny said, well, yeah, you've done a lot of good things for people and this and that, well, that's wonderful. But does that mean he's professional at it? I'm just going to cut to the chase. Is he a psychiatrist? No. Is he a lawyer? No. That's a professional to me. I'm sorry. It just to me is. Okay, I'm not a professional at anything. Even though I waitressed for over 20 years, does that make me a professional at it? Hell no. So, it's just Mark was so upset with me and so hurt. But maybe he'll understand a little bit more now. I wasn't dissing his channel. I wasn't dissing him. Not last night and not today. When apparently, and I told X Factor I was glad she pulled that up. I plumb forgot. I freaking said that again about Mark not being professional on Ernie's. Because she didn't say I said it on panel. She said you said it. So I was thinking, what do you mean? Did I type it in chat? I knew I hadn't. I said two things. I said, at Mark, and I put a little heart, didn't get any response. And I thought he just didn't see my chat, my comment. And then Ernie was really, getting into the guidelines and rules and whatever, how he wants to make his channel better and all this. And and everyone else was talking. Gamer Girl was like, oh, I'm good. This is going to be hard for me, LOL. And people were cutting up anyway, while Ernie was being serious. So I said, at Mark, no raunchy rap. And I put LOL, like I'm joking around. And he said, oh, okay, Tina. And I could tell he was upset, kind of. I'm like, what? I was thinking that when I read that. So anyway, I thought it was going to be a quick 3-minute live with just me and him. And it turned, in all honesty, I don't know if you can be sort of dogpiled by just two people, but that's what it felt like to me. Now, I bring up the word dogpile because apparently I have been dogpiled before, which I didn't even know was a flippin' thing or a terminology for YouTube when people are getting attacked. But it triggered feelings when I was in chat and being misunderstood by some of his mods and things. No fault of their own. They did not see every little thing in there. They couldn't have, to misunderstand and misrepresent me in chat like that. I don't know, but it triggered feelings full-heartedly, really strongly, of what I went through on Dolly Vision for many different times. And then one time I just put a smiley emoji in there and I'm getting blocked. I'm like, what? I'm not even talking. I'm not putting shit emojis up. I'm not flirting. I'm not doing a damn thing. And this was way back. This was way back. In fact, I believe it was before I was even co-host over there for those 3 months. And I did. It wouldn't stop. It wouldn't stop. I kept getting timed out for long, long periods of time. And I was like, screw this. I'm calling him and telling him what is going on. Because he had thousands of people in the 30,000s back then. And he can't see every little thing. And I called. Man, the chat went nuts. It went nuts. Oh my God, what a crybaby. Oh my gosh, anything for attention from Jimmy. Oh my gosh, You're always the wounded. Oh my God. On and on from the chat. But in his chat, it was every other darn person, it seemed like. To the point where it was so bad, I watched back the live and I wrote down the avatar names so that I would have an idea in the future, maybe which mod might time me out, or if somebody said something in a negative way, I would have an idea who it was. Okay, I'm not as dumb as I look. And I had about 4 pages in this little menu book of names with notes by them to be prepared. I don't know about this YouTube stuff. I'm still learning it. I'm still learning terminology. I didn't know what LMFAO stood for till last year. Okay, we're talking really basic things. I just started texting on a phone 8 years ago. Okay, that's not very long ago. People have been texting for years. Anyway, I am sorry, Mark. I will not, you know, be a problem in your chat or on your panel. I will not go over there. You stated very clearly I wasn't welcome anymore. In nearly the same way that you told Gypsy Soul, you know, on your short about her. And that's why I was getting upset and I blurted out what I did on Ernie's. Was it nice? No. But you saying the F word and telling me I'm not welcome over there and then apologizing to Ernie and Ernie saying it's okay and then me trying to say something and X Factor interrupting me and, you know, just because I'm long winded, it isn't even about her. Hi, Luna. It wasn't about X Factor. Why did she have to be in the discussion? Why? Okay, like I was calling her Kevy Poo and we were joking around and everything just the night before. But she had to come up there and either try to make me feel worse than I already did, more misunderstood than I already did. And, you know, the thing I've learned about YouTube is if you're with someone's channel and then you're slash a friend or a member, whether you pay money or not, the length of time you support a channel, you have, how do I, you have a chance, let's put it this way, to get away with more. And that's what I feel. And I feel that with every channel out there. That's what happens. Because creators, we want your support, and the longer you're with us, the better for us. And you can make genuine friendships on here. You can. And I have. But way back when I first met X Factor on Ernie Shells 2.5 years ago, she knew him then. Yeah, I'm trying to catch the chat. A professional is someone with experience or a high level of education, says Chi Socks. Yes, that's what I read too. He also says Chi Socks edits. You wouldn't ask a plumber. Oh, James N. Wright. Professional means something regarding your profession. T has a job singing in different places. I never looked at his program or even his YouTube channel as a job. I'm sorry, I just didn't. And if it is, I apologize for that too. Like, I mean, you know, I just, It's exasperating to be misunderstood so often. People want to call it coy. People want to call me naive. People want to call me um, that I really know what I'm talking about, but I act like I don't. No, sometimes I really, really don't. And people are shocked, and that's why Dolly Vision said way back when I first came up on his panel, "What have you been doing? Living in a cave?" And we all kind of laughed, you know? So Benny was really nice. I listened to what Benny Keys said about the situation, which he didn't know a lot of, and he admitted that. He said, I don't know all of what's going on or something. But he said, I'm not going to judge someone when I don't really know their medical issues and how their life, not these exact words, you guys, but you can watch Mark Terry's program, the last one with the pig on it with the earrings, which I don't know what that means. I hope he's not calling me a swine or a pig. Like, I hope he's not, but whatever. I don't know. Um, that's what Benny Keys said, okay? Out of everyone up there. And Ernie wasn't even up on Mark Terry's panel yet. And I thought that was really nice because unless you're in my shoes, doing what I do day in and day out, um, for my son and advocating for my son and making the doctor's appointments for my son and helping him talk to SSI people on the phone because he doesn't understand different questions because he is on the autistic spectrum. Don't judge me. Do not judge me until you go through this. And I've met many women, many, many women these past 2.5 years I've been on here, or 2 years in August, 2 years and 3 months or whatever, that have special needs kids. I'm here. I've tried to teach my son boundaries. Doesn't work very well. Okay. And furthermore, both of the fathers of my children never paid one fucking dime in child support. I have had to reach out to get help all these almost 30 years. That's half my life, you guys. So people that judge me, oh, why doesn't she work? Or why doesn't she do this? Or why doesn't she do that? Are you kidding me? Why do you think I had a stress induced heart attack? Not a heart attack, a stress induced in April. Okay? It's all of it, it's everything. It's my mom's passing and her being sick before, it's my sister's cancer, it's YouTube, it's cyberbullying on YouTube, it's my son's issues, it's living financially day to day like many of us do. It's getting older, okay? I'm dealing with what parents deal with when they have a significant other with them to bring them to the store and make the lists and help make meals and help clean and be a supportive shoulder to cry on. I'm doing all that at apparently a grandma age. I'm 63. Yeah. So all I'm saying is, you know, my daughter will be in her 40s when I'm in my 80s. It's a different ball game for me. My kids aren't out of the home all, in their little apartments with jobs and boyfriends and girlfriends um right now. That's not my life. It can't be with my son, you know. He'd like to meet someone online. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Then I've got random people out there, some men acting like they're women, etc. And I'm not talking about X Factor here. I'm literally saying that people will get online and they're not, to someone that's on the autism spectrum, they might totally, they'll think they're a woman and they're talking to a woman and they're not, you guys. You're very vulnerable when you're on the autism spectrum, and unless people deal with it, or a killer. I mean, my son met an older man downtown. He had a dog in a pickup. He asked him, he was about, see, how old was he? He's 29 now. He was about 26. He wasn't even 19 or 18. And he got in the pickup knowing he shouldn't. The guy drove him to his boat area, parked. And Parker just thought he was going to get a ride on a boat or something. I don't know. And the guy said, if you're going to be on my boat, you have to be naked. Okay? That was really disturbing. Parker was still in the pickup, he said. He said, no, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave now, or something like that. And I said, you're damn lucky the doors didn't just lock and he didn't make you do it. He could have abducted you. Yeah, but he was older and he had a dog and he was nice to me. Okay? So I told my son, you want to meet women online, you'll be in your own place or at you know at a home if he ends up in one. He even feels he'll probably be in one, but not when he's living here and we're with, my daughter. I don't want random people knowing my address. I mean, think about it, you guys. What if somebody, I mean, geez, tries to befriend him to get his SSI? People are crazy these days. Crazier than even in the past, I think. So it's not easy. So I'm going to get to this. Okay, and that's not counting, you guys, the 2 different times he's ran away because he was having a psychotic moment thinking, everybody's witches. Everybody, people in churches, the nurses, the cops, me. And then the next year, his sister. And the next year, his father. And it goes on and on and on. So to those people, you don't see the psychosis side of what my son's been through when he's not on meds. You don't see the depression side of him, laying on his bed with his Bible when he was a teen because OCD and intrusive thoughts started at 11. I mean, just out of the blue, had the thought of hurting his grandma. He loves his grandma. He was crying. No, it's not schizophrenia. I thought it was too. He's been up at the mental ward 2 different times, observed for days. They call it magical thinking due to autism. I'm not kidding. I have it on paper somewhere. And I was like, what? You're kidding. Now, kind of the difference is you hear voices and this kind of thing for schizophrenia. His is more on like the schizoid affective side with depression and all this magical thinking, being socially awkward. Yeah, yeah. Well, I just couldn't believe it because I thought if he's running away and that freaked out and throwing his wallet away and going all the way to flipping, Linden 22 miles away. And I don't mean hitchhiking. He was scared of everybody and everything. He walked. He had holes in his feet when I saw him at the hospital a day and a half later. And then he walked past Linden on out almost to Canada, Blaine. So, I mean, I was so frightened. Yes, yes. Thank you, Angel Soto. So, but I would rather him be here with me and, my life be a little more I don't want to say jarring. That's just not the right word. Be a little more hectic, I guess, than have him staying with his alcoholic father, who is a daily drinker, who is shit faced late at night or early in the morning. Hi, Smiley Miley. Hi, hun. Thank you. Happy to see you. Um, Not sitting at a table with a damn candlelight on, staring at my son, acting like he doesn't know who he is. Or these are all the things he's done within those 5 years, or threatening to take him and his suitcase at night to a train station because he's angry, or threatening to kick him out. Parker just confirmed that again in a different town they lived in before they moved to this other town. Um, it's bad. Or giving my son a flashlight, not a phone, a flashlight so he can find his way home because my ex needed more damn beer and he sent my son to the store to get it. He called me and he said, I don't know how to get home. And he's 6 hours away from me, living out in the damn desert somewhere. And I was sick. I said, you need to walk back to the store and just wait in the parking lot and I'll try to call a cop for you. Or better yet, go in the store and call the police and they'll help you find your way home. Okay? My ex should have said, okay, what's the address? Parker would have said, I don't know. I don't know the numbers. I don't know. I don't even know the street. Written it on paper for him. No, he sends him off with a flashlight. Okay, you can tell the bitterness in my voice. I'm still pissed about that. And that was 7 years ago or so. So, anyway, I'm very blessed that he's here. And frankly, guess what? He wants to be here. He does not want to go there. He doesn't. It took him all these years to kind of see the light with his dad. He knows it's never going to change unless he stops. Many people choose drugs or alcohol over their family. Okay? I didn't. I quit in 2011. I didn't just stop, I quit. And that's something to be proud of. Okay, I pulled this. Here it is. Okay, I've been blabbing for an hour. Okay, I typed in, what does professional mean to other people? Not just professional, but I've got all the answers to all the questions here. And it says, to other people, professional means being competent, reliable, and respectful. Okay, remember that word respectful, and you'll see how many times it's used in here, which includes having the necessary skills and knowledge to perform a job to a high standard. It also involves a specific set of behaviors like strong communication and a serious work ethic, integrity, and accountability, demonstrating that you can be trusted to do your job well and care about your responsibilities. Okay? I know Mark Terry stays pretty accountable, at least since I've been involved in it the last month and a half. And I know he's got a lot of integrity. I've also noticed he's got quite a few enemies. I don't know why. And I also know that he's easy to talk to. He does have strong communication. Is he always respectful? No. Are people respectful back to him? Hell no. Is he competent on his channel? Yes. Is he reliable to be there for his channel and his friends? Yes. So that's another reason I don't feel that YouTube channels are some professional means. But if he feels this is his profession, because I thought the singing was his profession, if he really feels it is, and he's hurt by what I said, I apologize wholeheartedly. Because I don't want him to think that I think he's some bad person or doesn't have a good channel or a fun channel or a meaningful channel. Hi, Raider Rich. It's nice to see you. So the next thing on professional is competence and skill. This is the core meanings of professional. Competence and skill, possessing the necessary expertise, knowledge, and confidence to perform a job effectively. Reliability and accountability, being a person others can depend on to meet their responsibilities and take ownership of their actions. Respect and integrity, conducting oneself with honesty, respect for others, and a strong sense of ethics. Strong work ethic, taking your job seriously, being committed to high standards. So if his channel is his job, and I didn't even know this all the time, and he is committing it to high standards, I didn't know. Okay, I did not know that every time people were coming up on his panel, he had respect for them and they had respect for him. What I see is a laid back, fun, go with the flow, come as you are, talk about whatever you want. But now he's monetized, so you've got to be a little more careful, right? Just laid back, have funny, different people on your program. Okay, to me, is that professional? No. And I'm saying it not to upset him or anybody. I'm saying my feeling of professional apparently is different from his, from X Factor. I don't think it's different from Ernie's, but I don't know. If people can't understand that people have a different feeling about what professional means than other people, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if somebody said to me, your channel, you're very professional on your channel, I would laugh. I'd literally be like, at what? I'm not a professional dancer. I've never had one lesson. I'm not some professional speaker. I mean, you know, I'm not a professional at meeting people. I'm kind of shy. But Dolly Vision broke me out of that. Being up on his panel every night and then him asking me to be co-host out of the blue broke me out of that. That doesn't make me a professional uh, panel person. It doesn't make me a professional anything. So again, I wasn't dissing anybody. I was stating what I think a professional is. And if people want to be hurt by that, that sucks. Because I do think Mark Terry's a good person. And I do think he has a very big heart. And I do think that I've had a lot of fun times on his panel. And I have appreciated his support over here. And I actually genuinely like him. Think he has a great voice and but I hurt him. I hurt him badly. And I don't want to put myself in that position again because people don't understand me. I don't know if it's flipping a language barrier from one state to another, if it's that and my age and my naiveness, or I'm just very different. I'm a very different person than many people. I've never been materialistic my whole life. Never. I've never, my boyfriend didn't have to have a nice car, much less have one. I'm not even kidding, okay? Um, Shaylin's father did not have a car till later because of all of his uh, grand mal seizures. He had to be grand mal seizure free for 3 years, and then he was able to get his license. Okay, that's proof right there. I don't admire someone because of their credit cards. I don't. I'm just different, you guys, and I think that can be a good thing. Now it also says strong work ethic. I said this one already. Taking your job seriously, which I didn't know. I didn't know, Mark, that you took your program. I just call mine a program. I don't even really call myself a creator. I just kind of say YouTuber. That seriously. But I know now. And you said, I love you, PCT, when I hopped down last night. So I said the thing about your channel not being professional last night. You could have said something to me in backstage. You didn't make one little notion about it to me. So when I said I was floored by everything on Ernie's, including X Factor's remarks about me, I was. I was floored and frankly kind of still am. Another thing that makes people, hi Wanda Steves, all the way from Canada. Belated Turkey Day, sweet PCT. Thank you so much. It's nice to see faces that genuinely give a shit what I have to say and try and know me well enough when I'm full of shit or I'm being transparent, blunt, and naive. But there's so many people out there that think they're better than everyone else. You know? Hi, England forever. Now listen to this. Another word, core, this is core meanings of professional: competence and skill, reliability and accountability, respect and integrity, strong work ethic. And guess what the last one is? Good conduct. Okay? Let's think about that for a minute. How many creators out there have good conduct? Even most of the time. Okay, I can't think of many. I can't. But I know, yeah, I believe he's schizoaffective. And so his psychiatrist, his last psychiatrist, said that. And I couldn't believe it. The one person that finally agreed with me. I told his father, look it up. Look this up. But he didn't, because he's in denial. So think about that. Good conduct is a core meaning of professional, exhibiting polite behavior and good judgment, which often includes communication, attitude, and how one handles tasks. No, they said he doesn't. They said he doesn't. And I had to sit there, and it took me, because I had tremors back then too, but they're worse now because I'm not on my propapanol. That was making my heart race. I mean, I was on it for a year and a half, and I just noticed my heart racing more when I came up the stairs. And I told my doctor, and he said, it's probably your propapanol. Now, he expected me to go down a dose. No, I went down a dose for 2 weeks, and then I went off the stuff because I was having enough fears with my heart, you know. So yeah. Well, no, it's a bunch of things. My son is comorbid. I had to read about this stuff. I had to read about this stuff. I had to read about bipolar. I had to read about obsessive compulsive disorder. I never even heard about these things until about 10 years ago. Okay? I didn't even know. They think my son is bipolar too. Which numbers? I don't know. There's bipolar 1, there's bipolar 2. You know, I mean, it's all right in our face. My mom felt that he had Asperger's and sent me a big book on it 15 years ago, and I read the thing, and out of all 26 things in this book, he had every single one of them, except the being awkward and physically stumbling around. Can't catch a ball, can't hit a ball, can't this kind of deal. No, he was absolutely fine when he was even a teen. At skateboarding, absolutely fine as a little kid at the Y, hitting the ball when no one else could. I mean, I'm just saying, but everything else, the social cues that he misses, the social kind of awkwardness, the anxiety, and Asperger's is on the autism spectrum, which I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I read the book and I was like, oh my gosh. Comorbid means you have a bunch of things all at once: anxiety, depression, bipolar, schizoid affective, you know. And the thing is, he was diagnosed at 17, and I heard it from the lady. I didn't really think she was right, but she said PDD, pervasive developmental disorder. I looked it up, Think about what that means. It means it's going to get worse as he gets older. Everything's going to get harder for him. And boy, have I seen it. In the last 10 years, I've seen it. I try to be encouraging. I try to say, you can go for a walk, around the block by yourself. He's like, well, these people were looking at me and I don't really feel comfortable. And I said, maybe they just liked your coat. Maybe they were noticing your coat. Or maybe you thought they were looking at you and they were looking at a dog behind you. It doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't change anything. So, anyway, so professionalism, you guys, is demonstrated in behavior, acting in a way that is respectful and considerate of colleagues and clients. Or, I guess, if you're a creator, you could say being respectful and considerate of what? People in your panel, on your panel, and of your mods and everyone in your chat. I mean, if they're rude, you could just block them and not have to say anything. That's what I do. A lot of creators read out every little negative thing that is said in their chat. So many people do this. In the very beginning, I felt I needed to read everything. That was over a year ago. I don't do that. I haven't for a long time. For one thing, it feeds the fire. Also, it's demonstrated professionalism in communication using appropriate language and communicating clearly, whether it's in writing or in person. Okay, and then there's in appearance. In many workplaces, this includes dressing in a manner that is appropriate for the environment. And then in the workplace, being able to see the bigger picture, helping out when needed, and working well with others as part of a team. Okay, there you go. That's what Ernie Shell wants for his program, and he will have it. Are all these others professionals, creators, and YouTubers? I sure don't think so. Just because you do a stream every night, that makes you a professional? I don't get it. I mean, geez. Now, maybe, I don't know, maybe Dolly Vision is, because he started out with Jimmy Jams for what, 5 years or something, and now he's been doing Dolly Vision for another what, 4 or something. So maybe he kind of is a professional YouTuber. But people that are just winging it for 2 or 3 years, I don't think that makes them professional. I don't know. I don't know. Do you have to have a timeline on something to be good at something? I think you have to have a little bit of time, a little bit. I wouldn't say somebody that is studying law and becomes a lawyer and a month later is a real good professional at their job. I would say their job title is professional, right? Teachers, nurses, lawyers, whatever else, cops, cooks, whatever else is out there, like a real job. So again, Mark Terry feels that his channel is his job, it's his profession. I wish like hell I hadn't blurted it out last night and then again today on Ernie's. And again, I truly, that's why I said, I know I said that last night. I was crying, I was hurt, and I plumb absolutely until X Factor pulled it up, and I thanked her for it, heard my voice on Ernie's, and I said it again. I was shocked. And I am going to the neurologist, and I hope I don't get horrible news of some damn Alzheimer's starting. Okay, I can handle a little dementia. Many of us have that and don't even know it. Alzheimer's? That's scary. My father's wife had that for 7 years. He took care of her, everything. He did everything a caretaker would do for her. He was wonderful. And then she died. Anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you for listening, everybody. Anybody that heard from the bushes or gives a crap about my understanding and my feelings about things, my intention in life isn't to hurt people. My intention in life isn't to smear people. My intention in life isn't to go to channels and fucking drag them. And the reason I blurted that out is, Mark Terry, you and Incel X or whatever, when I brought up the whole thing with Chuck and helping him do something I never should have done and almost went to prison for it, I was dragged on that topic for over an hour. And I giggled and I laughed and I went with the flow. But did it hurt? Did it hurt when Incel X said more than once and kept repeating it? Oh, well, then you're a snitch. You're a snitch. And I felt like I had to keep defending myself. Well, yeah, I guess I am. I guess when you're told you have to testify or you'll go to prison, when you know damn well you were taken advantage of because you're a Midwestern South Dakota girl that got together with some Floridian cocaine addict, which I didn't even know when I met him, that knows how to wheel and deal, you're damn right I'm going to save my own ass. Did I cry for years? Yes. Did I have nightmares while I was married to Joe? Yes. Was it so awful for me and I had so much guilt that it was just hard? My whole life was hard. I had to talk to Joe about it, and he brought me to a psychiatrist for a little while. Yes. Has he forgiven me? That is Chuck. Yes. Yes. We were friends about 10 to 12 years ago. We started writing again. But then it just got to be too much. It got to be too much. My son's issues were too much. I had too much on my plate, too many health, well, I hadn't had a stroke yet, but just too many things in my life to deal with. And he knew it. He was asking me to, I didn't have $40, okay, to get him a Snicker bar for $1 or whatever it is, and to buy him a radio. He wanted a Snicker, but he sent me his little list: Snicker bar, radio. I think batteries was one. Stamps aren't allowed, because I sent stamps once in an envelope for him so we could write, and they were sent back to me because stamps aren't allowed for whatever reason, and now I can't remember. But yeah, that was a trying time in my life, and I let him go. And the weird thing is, he kept writing me. He kept sending me birthday cards every year. And he did all the way up until not last year, but the year before. And he finally stopped. He finally stopped. And I'm kind of relieved. I want the best for him, but you guys, he's been in prison and moved from prison to prison to prison to prison, because that's what it said in the letters, because of fights and being in the hole and this and that and the other thing, many times, many times. And he had to do his full 39 years. He was 19 when he did his 4. He got out that very next year. See, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 21, 2, 3. It was 23 or 24 when he did the bank robbery. You know, and possibly he could have gotten out on half that time with good behavior, because nobody was, killed. But the point is, you don't threaten people with a gun. You know what I mean? You don't do that. I read the article. I don't remember it. It's in the Sun something in Florida. And it's crazy. And I was crazy to be so into a bad boy like that. That just made him all the more sort of endearing to me. I don't know. I don't know. But there's a lot of us women out there that, maybe I felt needed when he was locked up in the correctional center. Was I falling in love with him? Yes. Did we talk about marriage? Yes, we actually did. We were going to get married in Florida. His mom was from Tampa. But did his drug use continue? Did he ask me for my tips at the pizza joint, Zachary's Pizza in Burlington, Vermont? I don't even know if it's there anymore. Yes. Did I stupidly, after saying no, 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 give in and give him all my tips? Knowing he would use it on a so-called 8-ball, which I barely knew what that even was. I didn't do hard drugs, you guys, and I never have. Have I dabbled in pot in my life? Yes. Have I dabbled in speed? Yes. Did I try those pills Crossroads one time? Yes, when I was living in Minnesota. Have I tried cocaine ever? Yes, 2 times. It didn't do much for me. It wasn't very much, whatever. But have I ever used a drug in my vein or anything like that? No. For one, it was never offered to me. For two, I was too chicken shit. And that's probably why I turned to alcohol. It relaxed me, and the drinking age was 18 back in the 80s in Vermont. 18. I was sneaking into bars at 16. So anyway, we all have our vices. Thank God. I don't feel like I need any kind of alcohol these days to deal with anything in my life. I knew from going to so many AA meetings and dinners and speaker meetings and speaking myself and being a sponsor and filling out forms and all of that. I knew I wasn't going to drink when my mom passed someday, and I haven't, and I have no desire for it. And I told her that on the phone, you guys, about 2 weeks before she died, and I was all sick with that influenza B, but we kept talking on the phone and trying to plan things because I thought my flu would go away in about a week. Ended up being the letter B one, and it just lasted and lasted and absolutely just took its toll on me. I was so weak and so sick. I said to her, Mom, I just want you to know, because she was on hospice. And it was a weird thing to say to her, but I had to say it. I said, I don't want you to think I'm going to freak out or something when you pass and drink. And she said,
She didn't say, "Oh, well, that's wonderful to hear." She said, and she didn't say, "Oh, Megan, I know you won't," because she knew how much I missed her. She knew we hadn't seen each other very much in the last years. She said, Megan, all kind of stern like with me. I was surprised. She said, "Well, Megan, if you do, it'll ruin your life and your kids' lives." That's what she said to me. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we've covered, you know, what does professionalism mean to you? This is the American Bar Association. Professionalism means zealously advocating for our clients while serving the profession with dignity and civility. Okay, that's being civil in people's chats. That's being civil with people on your panel, which I strive to do now myself. Professionalism includes treating clients and adversaries and all individuals involved in the legal process with respect while maintaining the highest ethical something or other. I don't know what the next word is here. So, when different creators out there just let people up on their panels and bash people, and Team Rose and I, we went at it for 2 weeks and she went at it for a few months, and but YouTube changes people, some for the better, some for the worse, but it's always evolving, you guys. And that's why I'm friends with Sherry and have been now for a couple of years. And I'm Wild Bucket List of Adventure and Team Rose, because we have a maturity and an understanding to know that she was projecting her fears and her anger about what she went through with her mother and her siblings onto me, because she did not want me to go through that same pain that she went through and is frankly still going through. All I'll say is she left me messages again today on Messenger, and she was very, very emotional. And she's going through a lot. And apparently, my message to her, my heartfelt, sincere message, made her cry. Because I told her, I said, I don't love you just because we're the same age, or just because we've had differences, or just so I could stay in touch with you on Messenger. I said, I feel this really strong kinship to Team Rose because we're so much alike, you guys. She and I are so much alike. She laughs at some of the words and the way I even act on my panel. She's like, "Oh my gosh, it's just like I was," or this and that and the other thing. And we have a lot of other commonalities. Going to college on the East Coast. Believe it or not, I went to college. I'll be honest, one semester. Okay, I was getting literally sexually abused by 3 different guys, tormented, and I quit. I quit. That's my story with college. Nowadays, you could, take them to court and get them for harassment and all this. I packed up and left. And that was in Johnson State. That was in Johnson, Vermont at Johnson State College. And my roommate was walking to math class, her math class in the morning, like just a basic math, and got jumped and RAPED'd. And that was the other last straw, because we were out in the boonies where people go skiing and all this. The college was up on this mountain. You had to drive way up this long dirt road to get to it. So we were kind of isolated. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Thank you, everybody, for saying hi to me. And whether Mark Terry accepts my apology or not, that's up to him. It's really okay either way. I've made my apology. I've stated again why I said what I said. I've stated what I feel professionalism is. And I've stated that I didn't know he looked at his channel as a profession. And I am sorry for that. And there are times that I wish I had, bit my tongue. But what's done is done. But I wish no ill on him at all. And if anybody out there says, oh, she did a live on Mark Terry and bashed him, that's bullshit, okay? Get it straight. Watch my live. Try to be mature enough to see that people describe things in a different way than other people. Their meanings in life are different than other people's. That's called maturity.